Hey, good evening. So, there's a story goes around where nearly $700,000 has poured into GoFundMe campaign for Ford worker TJ Sabula after he called Trump pedophile protector at Dearborn, Michigan, I believe, F-150 plant and got flipped off by the sitting president on camera. I think President Trump did say "f you" a couple times before flipping him. Um, Before and the guy in the work boots, the image feels like it belongs on the cover. Blah blah blah, whatever. That person did get fired. Um, I think. I think TJ Sabula uh, knew what he was doing by saying pedophile protector to Trump. I think Trump knew what he was saying and doing, right? He said F you a couple times and flipped the birdie. Um, they both practice their freedom of speech. Um, I think TJ Sabula knew what could have, what the consequences would have been if he did say, if he did say pedophile protector. I think he knew he was going to be fired by saying it. Actions do have consequences. Yes, freedom of speech, but also you have to be ready to stand by what you say as well and and take the consequences, right? Accept the consequences because F-150 plant Ford is very pro Trump, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but they're very strong pro Trump, and so I think he knew he was going to lose the job pretty quick. Um, like I said, he used his freedom of speech. Trump used his freedom of speech and freedom of sign language. But fund $700,000 to him, I may not agree with that. I think that's kind of stupid. Excuse me. But again, people have the freedom to donate and give their money, hardworking money, to whoever they please. So I pretty much, for the most part, don't see any wrong of him speaking his mind. TJ Sabula, I don't see anything wrong with President Trump. He could have been a little bit more professional, yes, but sometimes people just get frustrated and just say "f you," right? And speak sign language of "f you," right? I think people would stand by whatever they believe and donate if they feel like they have to. So, in other words, I don't know. It is somewhat of a story. It's somewhat big, but not really. I personally would never donate money to TJ. I would never cheer on Trump for saying "f you" or flipping the middle finger. I think, yeah, I think that's all I have about this story. There's really not much to say about this except they both practice their freedom of speech. That's what makes America beautiful, great, right? That you can speak your mind without fear of death, but you're not immune to consequences either, where he lost his job, right? It made President Trump look like not so great by, saying F you and flipping the middle finger. That's not very presidential, but he does have the freedom of speech. He can express how he feels. So, in the end, that's not wrong either. So, and people can give money, right? To anybody, they can donate to anybody, right? So, yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. And like I said, I think Ford had every right to fire him too. It's freedom of speech everywhere. Freedom of action. So yeah, thank you.